Hi, folks. This is Tom back with another episode of Truth Be Told. So things happen in our lives that make it where you can't go back to believing what you did the day before. They change how you look at everything for the rest of your life, really. You can't deny when certain things happen. Well, I'm going to tell you about the house I grew up in. It was out in the cornfields of Wilmington, Ohio, right next to a Air Force base, which they say is decommissioned, but that's a story for another time. Clinton County Air Force Base. And a lot of stuff happened in this farmhouse that I grew up in. To all the people who lived there, everybody had some sort of experience. I'll share a couple as they come to mind. Let's see. This is an experience that my mom told me she had one day. She was taking an afternoon nap on the sofa in the living room, fell asleep watching TV. And she awoke to a man who had come from the bottom of the steps into the living room and walked completely in front of her. It walked in front of the TV and toward the kitchen and then disappeared. When it got to the kitchen, she saw it just vanish. And she was, certain that there was somebody there. She said, "Can I help you? Who are you?" And that's one of her experiences. I wasn't there for that one, but I was there for a different one where it was my mom and I were at home. My sister lived with us, but she was staying with a friend overnight in town. And in my sister's room, which was down a hallway, she had a television in there. And this is the old type of televisions from the old days. They had a switch. To turn it on, you had to pull the switch, and to turn it up and down, you would turn that same switch. This TV was old, and that switch, you could pull it in and out easily enough, but you had to have strong fingers to turn it up and down. Well, anyway, I was just hanging around the house one night with my mom, and all of a sudden we hear the TV turn on in my sister's room. And then it turned itself all the way up to top volume, and we just my mom and I were looking at each other like, what the heck? There's got to be somebody that snuck in a window and did this, because TVs don't just turn themselves on. Well, it was as though she already knew that in this case the TV had turned itself on, because without thinking twice, she just walked back in there and turned it off, came walking back out. I thought she was really brave. I was sure there was somebody else in the house with us, but there wasn't. Just some ghostly behavior, I guess you could say. And a lot of things happened in that house. Classic haunting stuff where you put something down, turn around for a second, and then it's just gone, and it'll turn up in a completely different part of the house where you haven't been. When I was a small child, I would see a lot of shadow beings around the house. And one night, I think more than one night, but I definitely remember this, there was I saw some toys that I had left out in the yard. I saw them floating in front of my window. I could look out the window into the yard, and they were floating. And I thought to myself, as young Tom, I thought, that must be why my dad always tells me, don't leave your toys in the yard, because the ghosts will play with them. But what he meant was he didn't want toys in the yard because it makes it hard to mow the grass. And it took me a while to figure that out. I swore that he, you know, knew that the ghosts would play with them if I left them outside. Yeah, there's a bunch more stuff that happened. Just extra hard to believe, crazy stuff, you know, so I'll spare you that. But yeah. Well, I reckon that's it for this telling of the truth be told. Telling of the truth be told. You know what I mean. All right. I'm gonna get back to playing music and putting up more songs, but there's just a little handful of these stories I'm trying to get through and get them posted for everybody. Okay, good night.